Right, another episode of the Couch Vlogs, and I'm serving up your meal for today. MJ Note. I want to get a couple of my thoughts out in the open. First of all, Over the Limit. Surprise, surprise, John Cena is still the WWE Champion. But, again, it's no surprise because he's the face of the company as far as the board of directors and, of course, Mackie himself is concerned. I will admit now, Randy Orton was the better man in the World Heavyweight title match. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm part of the Peeps Coalition, you know, one of Christian's many lieutenants under the Captain Charisma regime. But, you know, at the end of the day, Orton proved he was the better man. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Christian because he is an amazing competitor. Considering everything that this guy has gone through, table matches, ladder matches, TLC matches, he's been in cage matches, I think he was in a few Elimination Chamber matches, I know Edge was. And, as I said before, considering that this guy was a 3-time champion in NWA, he's more than capable of being a world champion. Now, let's get onto the subject of Michael Cole. Everything that transpired last year, from when he turned as a heelish commentator on NXT, mocking Daniel Bryan, to when he screwed Lawler out of the WWE title a week after the night on Raw, after Survivor Series, when Lawler had a ladder match against Miz for the title, that kind of cemented what kind of direction Cole was going in. Now, we had everything that boiled up to the match at WrestleMania, which, by the way, is arguably one of the most pointless WrestleMania matches I have ever had the displeasure of watching. Not saying that Lawler made it that way, far from it. But Michael Cole, a guy whose in-ring and technical skills is more uncoordinated than John Cena, it says a lot. And then a country whipping match, at Extreme Rules, and then a third match at Over the Limit, where the stipulation was, if Lawler lost this one, he would not only have to surrender his Hall of Fame ring, but induct Sir Michael Cole into the Hall of Fame. Now, never came to pass because Bret Hart showed up and made sure that Cole would lose, and it was a Kiss My Foot match, which is reminiscent of what happened in 1995 between Hart and Lawler. But then the next night on Raw, Michael Cole comes out and does a face turn, and just like that, Lawler forgives him. I don't know. I think it would have been better if Cole had disappeared for a week or two, just to let it sink in, but I'm just grateful that this piss-poor story is done and dusted.
Can I have your attention, please? What about all that stuff? Is that still there?
Yeah, that's gonna, well, that little segment, I mean, they're still doing, you know, with the email, but the coal mine, the ankle lock, Sir Michael Cole, it's all done and dusted. It's going to act as if nothing happened.
Oh, that'll boy.
Yeah. And then, each week, ever since Karma debuted, she's been taking divas out. She took out Michelle McCool, who was leaving anyway, so it's not really taking out. Then she does away with Maurice, which, in all retrospect, as far as most fans and other divas are concerned, no one likes Maurice. She might be gorgeous, but up here, it's ugly.
She kind of reminds me of Michelle McCool, even less of a personality.
That's what I mean, the personality's ugly. And then she takes out the Bella Twins. Although Alicia Fox did try to strike up some kind of a resistance to Karma, a.k.a.
I thought it was only one of the Bella Twins.
Shut up. No, they... yeah, no, you are right. One of them got taken out. Yeah, alright.
Which one was it? Was it Brie or was it...
I think it was Nikki. And then
Doesn't really matter though.
and Karma kind of had her eye set on doing away with Kelly Kelly for some reason. I don't know why.
Story purposes.
And then last night on Raw, there was an 8-diva tag team match. Because presumably Raw does not have that many amount of divas. That's why the Divas title's universal to both brands. But you know, you have the Raw. I think Beth Phoenix is still on Raw, as far as I know.
I thought with the Divas, it's like they're interpromotional.
No,
Because Karma keeps showing up on both shows.
yeah. I don't think she's found anywhere to rest her hat yet. Anyway,
Right.
her music plays again with the psychotic laughter in the background, and Beth Phoenix, you know, just saying to the girls, no, we're going to stay and stand up to her, because, truth be told, the only one that would ever be a true challenge for Karma, because from what I understand in her days in TNA, she is one to be reckoned
I
with.
saw her stretcher match with, I forgot her name, but that was fucking brutal, man.
Anyway, Beth Phoenix would be the only one that could ever mount any kind of offense, because Beth might not have the size advantage that Karma has, but Beth does have power to her game. So that would be an interesting match to see. Now, in all honesty, with Raw now, I think we're actually at a situation now where the excitement factor is slowly shifting back towards SmackDown. Now, I watch SmackDown on a weekly basis again. I do see little snippets of Raw, and to be honest, what I see of Raw, it's just when Raw was starting to get better towards the end of last year, it just starts as if they're taking 4 steps back when all they did was take 2 steps forward.
I think you mean 1 step forward and 2
Yes,
steps back.
all right.
I'm just saying as well.
And with SmackDown, it seems as though they have a clue with what they're doing. I mean, all right, Vicky Guerrero's gone, thank goodness, and along with Mr. Turd Ferguson, a.k.a. Mr. 1995, and a.k.a. Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Lundgren.
And Randy Orton as champion, I think that will actually serve SmackDown well, because Edge was their staple champion when before he retired. I mean, he was the guy that was the measuring stick on SmackDown. And let's face it, Undertaker might be a legend on SmackDown, but I'm not going to beat about the bush on this one. Taker is done.
Yeah, I saw his match at Mania against Triple H. It was good, but he really was like... It was like when you watch the first episode of Batman Beyond, Batman the Future, whatever you want to call it, when he's really struggling, that's pretty much Taker now. He's pretty much the 50 to 60-year-old Bruce Wayne.
And, you know, SmackDown needed someone to carry the mantle of champion, and I think Orton is a good choice as champion. Now, personally, I think they should have given Christian a little bit more time. Yeah. You know, if it had been they dethroned him after 2 or 3 months, I would have said, okay, fine. He had a decent, long enough reign, but 2 days after the pay-per-view, no.
It's better than what Kane did once.
But if you recall, back in '93, Yokozuna had it even less, but...
Is it true they took the belt off him because it was payback for TNA?
If that is the case, then that's just really petty, but
yeah.
I really don't know what the situation is in regards to that. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of BS politics that are going on again. I mean, we thought it was bad with the cliques that dominated the backstage politics, particularly in WWE in the mid-90s when you had the clique of Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Diesel. And then equally in WCW when he had the NWO.
And now in TNA. Pretty much, let's face it, is the NWO, but they just can't use the name.
See, you know, with TNA, the only reason they feel... I mean, if I'm wrong on this, but I feel like the only reason some people are going towards TNA is because of the name that Bischoff and Hogan draw. Now, don't get it twisted. Bischoff has contributed a lot to this business back in the day. Not going to discredit him for that. And equally with Hogan. But Hogan, in my honest opinion, does not know what makes this business work. Granted, the WWE don't really have much of a clue as to what works and what does not work anymore, but that's for another time and conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I just feel as though TNA are making the same mistakes that what led to the demise of WCW in March of 2001. Now, first biggest mistake, getting rid of the 6-sided ring. That was TNA's selling point.
Yeah, I mean, there's very few matches that I saw. I mean, I know Helsing showed me a few matches, and they looked pretty cool, actually. I mean, some of the more creative matches where, like, you had to climb this, like, scaffold and reach, like, the belt at the top of the ring thing, that was kind of cool.
And before the likes of all the older WWE stars that went over to TNA to get a bit of a push. I mean, to be fair to Christian, I never thought of him as an older WWE superstar. I mean, when he left in 2005 to go there, he didn't do it for money. He did it because he wanted a fresh start and be able to elevate himself to such heights that he had never been able to climb before in World Wrestling Entertainment. And you could argue in some ways that Booker T did the same thing, but with Booker, they did give him a world title run, but it was as the rather bizarre angle of King Booker! See, you don't need to give a guy like Booker T an angle like that, because Booker T was already getting over just by being himself. I mean, the whole 5-time, that was him.
They should give the King thing to Chris Masters.
That would work. And it's just a lot of other things that just didn't really make that much sense. And you can sort of understand now why guys like Booker... I mean, Booker is out of the business now in regards to ring action because his back is messed up. I mean, you know, that's fine. That's a given. I mean, you can only push it for so long, and Booker is in his mid-40s. And as an announcer for SmackDown, I think he just simply continues to improve with each week. And the same could be said with Josh Matthews. I mean, not saying that Josh Matthews is the JR of today. I mean, JR is JR. No one is ever going to be able to get to that kind of level of efficiency as far as a play-by-play announcer is concerned. But Josh is definitely improving, as said with Booker. Now, if the situation goes now where this heel turn with Michael Cole is over, and Michael Cole just stays on one show, that will give Booker T and Josh Matthews the chance to kind of actually grow into their own kind of commentary team. And I find commentary announcers tend to do better when it's just two people. I mean, occasionally if you get a guest commentator at the announcer's table, then that's fine, that's a given. But two people get the rhythm going better. And the only other thing to note is, with the final game of the season done with the Premier League, I am getting out of football, or soccer in some other places where people think of it that way, simply because I just don't have any love for the sport. Don't mind playing it occasionally with a couple of buddies and whatnot, but I find the game just doesn't have the same pace, the same kind of heart, and it really doesn't help matters when you get most of the players in the Premiership today earning ludicrous figures of nearly 130 grand a week. I mean, you go back some 15 years ago when they're earning maybe 30. Granted, even by today's standards, 30 grand a week is a lot of money, but compare that to what they earn today, you know, it's the lesser of two evils. But, yeah, some things are definitely on the change, but that's it for the Couch Vlogs for this episode. Sorry it's been left so long, but there was just a couple of things I needed to get out in the open. Until next time, guys, take it easy.